Alright, in this video we're going to talk about markdown and markup. A markdown, the amount deducted from the original price, so it's when the price goes down, and it works just like a discount. A markup is when an amount is added to the original price and the price is raised. Alright, so it's not quite tax and tip, but it works just like tax and tip. Alright, so let's look at an example. Number one, a sweater that cost $20 was marked up 60%. What is the amount of the markup? What is the selling price? Well, if you recall from class, we could make a list or use a picture to represent this information. I'm going to use a list for this one, so we know that the original price is always 100%, and that's going to equal $20. The markup, that's going to be 60%, and we don't know what that is. And finally, the selling price. This is going to be 160%. We also do not know what that is. All right. Now, if this was a markdown, I would subtract the 100% and the 60%. But since it's a markup, that means we add. We're raising the price, so we have to add the 60%. Therefore, the selling price is 160. All right. So to answer A, what is the amount of the markup? They're basically asking for this price right here, the amount of the markup. So that means we need to create a proportion with that 60%. So the proportion I'm going to create is 20 over 100 equals x over 60. All right. I took the information directly from the list that we made, and I kept it dollars over percent. All right, so cross multiply, get 100x equals 1200. Divide 100 on both sides, and we get x equals 12. All right, so this number is the markup itself. This is how much we're going to be adding to the original price. This is the 60%. So a store bought, maybe they bought the sweater for $20, and now they're increasing the price by 60%. All right, so therefore the selling price is going to be that original $20 plus the $12 we're marking it up, and the selling price of the sweater is $32. All right, so that's how we find markup. You calculate the percentage and then add it. Now, I also had another option here. I could have put my variable with the 160%, and that would give me my selling price right away, because we know that the selling price is 160%. So the proportion that we could have made is 20 over 100 equals H dollars over 160%. And if you actually solve this proportion, we're going to get H equals $32. Okay? Now, this helps us when we want to answer part B. However, if you think about it, it doesn't really help us too much if we're asking for A, because this is the selling price itself. I mean, we could get the answer to A just by subtracting 32 and 20 to get $12. However, I do find that it's much easier to take it one step at a time by doing it this way. All right, so that's how you find markup. You just calculate the percentage and add. The next question I'm going to do is a backwards markup question. Alright, so the question says, a tennis supply store pays a wholesaler $90 for a tennis racket and sells for $144. What is the markup rate? Now, for this question, the list is really going to help us organize our information. Alright, so the list is, once again, original, the markup, and the final price or the selling price. I'll put final for this one. They're really the same thing. Now, you know the original price for anything is going to be 100%. That's what we learned in class. So 100%. And in this case, it says that the original price of the tennis racket is $90, right? A tennis store pays a wholesaler $90. So that's the original price. And then it says that the tennis rackets, they sell it for $144. Now, $144 is not really the markup, it's the final price. So $144. And if you look at our information, we could actually find what the markup was, right? So if they bought it for $90 and then they sold it for $144, that means they increased the price by $54. And once again, I simply found that by subtracting 144 and 90. All right, now the question is asking, what is the markup rate? They're not asking for the rate or the percentage of the final price. They're asking for the markup rate. So I'm going to put my variable right here. I want to know what the percentage is for the markup. All right, so use your information to make a proportion. The proportion I'm going to create is 90 over 100 equals 54 over X percent. Cross multiply. 5400 equals 90x. Divide 90 on both sides. And we get x equals 60% as our markup. All right. So the key to these questions is really making a list or drawing a picture. Find or fill in as much information as possible. Right, so we knew that it was, we always know that the original price is 100%. The question told us it was 90. The question also told us that the final price was 144. Therefore, they increased it by 54. And when we looked at the question, they were asking for the markup rate, which means the markup percentage. So that's where we put our X. And then we created a proportion. All right, so it's very important that we either get used to a list or drawing a picture. All right, thank you for watching.